Hello everybody and welcome back. I am really excited to be part of the Christmas Craft Off 23. This is a huge collaboration set up by Rachel from RachandBellaCrafts. As you can see from the screen, there are lots of amazing crafters in this Craft Off, so I am absolutely privileged to be part of it. There are going to be 2 videos out every day throughout the month of November. Now obviously we're coming towards the end now, so if you have missed any of the videos there will be a link down in the description. It's a Linktree link, but if you click on it you'll have a list of all of the crafters, so you can go and check out their videos for each of the days. When I'm recording this, I've seen the first week of November and I have to say it has been absolutely incredible. It always blows me away that even though we're all using the same papers, that the ideas and the projects are just always so very creative and so very different. Sometimes reintroducing old techniques that we've been fond of before but have perhaps forgotten about, so they've been redone in a different way. But yeah, it's been absolutely amazing so far. So if you have missed out and you haven't been watching, that list will be down below so you can go and check those out. On another note, make sure that you are liking and leaving a little comment underneath each of the videos that you're watching, because there is a huge giveaway at the end. I think it's 40 something prizes to be won. There's absolutely lots being given away. Some of the crafters are giving away the projects that they're doing. Some of the crafters are giving away digitals. I have some digitals that I'm giving away. But yeah, there's absolutely tons. Like I said, I'm sure it's over 40 different things that are being given away, so make sure that you are liking and commenting. Obviously subscribing would be great as well, but definitely that like and that comment really helps each of the channels out as well. Right, so on with my part then. So the prompt that I had for today was letters to Santa. So I've already started because the process is very similar as we go along. So I'll show you what I've done so far. The way I kind of interpreted this is I was thinking of the actual letters that spell Santa. So you'll see that I've got letters down the side of my project here. But then I was thinking I wanted to use envelopes as well, because obviously you would post a letter to Santa. So I've just made a kind of mini album booklet, little, could be used as a December daily, possibly for a little bit of journaling. It was just something mini. I didn't want a huge great big project, because obviously with all of the craft projects you're going to be watching throughout December, I thought people are not going to have the time to do something overly complicated. So I have as my base a card strip. So I've just used some craft card. And it's the width of an A4 piece of paper, and then it is 4 1/4 inches high. I then used my Cricut because I didn't have an alphabet die that was big enough. I wanted 4-inch high letters, so I used my Cricut to cut those out. So I just typed in the word Santa, resized it so it's 4 inches high, and then had my Cricut cut it out. So if I just show you each of the pages that I've got so far. So this is my front page. So I've got a ribbon around this envelope. I've used, to make the envelopes, Rachel had a few kits available actually for Christmas. So I decided to use the shabby backgrounds only because I think that went really well. Lots of the pages in the main kit had lots of images on, and obviously where I was folding it into an envelope I thought, well, you're going to miss out on those images, so that's why I went with the shabby backgrounds, because I thought it just suits the kind of project that I was doing. I've also used the fussy cuts, and again I had my Cricut cutting them all out. So I've got candles and a present on the top. I've got letters to Santa because obviously that was my prompt. And then inside the envelope I've got a journaling card, and then this is one of the pages from the kit as well. I have left it blank on the back for journaling. Like I said, this might be useful as a December daily. I haven't decided how exactly I'm going to use it yet. But yeah, this is stuck down to the base page, and then as I say, you just have this ribbon to keep it closed. Okay, so again we have the letter S, and then when you flip over, this is the back of the page. So each of them will have a pocket. Again, I've just used some words on here, and all I've done to create that is I've got one of these little cheapy, it kind of embosses the tape, but this was literally a cheap one. I can't even remember how much I paid for it, maybe £5. It was a very, very cheap one. But yeah, I just thought it'd be nice to have some words on here as well. So I've got Santa and I've got the Christmassy door. Then I've got a pocket where I've put one of the tags from the kit and just decorated the top. Again, it's all blank on the back for journaling. And then I had a lot of cut-offs where I was obviously trimming down for my envelopes. So I thought, well, I'll use those as like a journaling card. So I've just done a decorative edge, and then the tag just kind of holds it closed, and then all of that goes into the pocket. And I've pretty much repeated this process throughout. So like I said, I wanted to keep it simple, which is why you haven't seen me build the whole booklet. But the only thing that's different are the closures for the envelope. So again, I've got my letter A on the side. For this one, you kind of push the circle together, and then you've got a cut out slot for this one. And instead of patterned paper, I've just got, again, the craft card. So again, that's blank. I thought that might be nice to have a photo on, maybe over Christmas, to have a photo on, and then a little bit of journaling as well. And then, as I say, that circle just pops up, opens out, and that holds that closed. Again, on the back, we've got the same. So I've used obviously some different cut parts. So we've got the candles, we've got the beautiful angel, and then, but again, we've got a tag and a strip there for journaling on. We then have our next envelope. So we've got our N. This time I've used some ribbon to hold it closed, but as a kind of tuck spot. And then inside, again, I've used part of the kit for that and kept it plain on the back. So a journaling card in there. And then that just tucks underneath the ribbon. And then on the back of that one, whoops, let's move those out the way. Again, we've got the word festive, we've got some presents, and then a tag, and then that strip. So we're going to finish off the last 2 pages together. But as I said, it is very repetitive, which is why I didn't want to do the whole thing on camera. So as I said, these strips are the width of an A4 piece of paper, which I believe is 8 1/4. And then they're 4 1/4 high. My letters are 4 inches. The nice thing about this project is you can make it really any size that you want to. I did use my envelope punch board to create the envelopes. So that is an option. Or you can make them on your scoreboards, I believe. I've never used my scoreboard to make an envelope, but I have seen people that have done it. So I've already got 2 journaling cards ready. And I've already started getting some of my bits ready as well. So I'm just going to try and separate that one. So they're the bits for that page. These are the bits for this page. So the first thing I want to do is build my envelope. So this was one of the shabby backgrounds as well. And I really, really love this page with all the poinsettias. But because, again, obviously we've got all this space here, but it is getting glued down, which was another reason why I didn't want to use the other pages in the kit, because like I said, if you've got all these beautiful images, I thought, well, you're just going to lose them when it's all kind of folded up. So that's why I thought the backgrounds kit would work really, really well for this. So I'm just thinking I might have my envelope this way up, actually, just because it's slightly faded along this edge where it's obviously a shabby background. So I'm going to have it that way. So the first thing that I did was just made a little marker. Now I know some people don't mind that triangle, but that bugs me. So I just make a little marker just kind of where it comes in here. And then I'm going to get my trimmer and cut that bit off. So just find my little marks, line it up and chop. Now when I did this before, I actually did it a bit wonky, so no, brilliant, fine this time. Let's get rid of that. Also going to round the corners. Now the envelope punch board does actually have a corner rounder. I just completely forgot to do it when I was making the envelopes, but I do have this spare one. And then this is going to get stuck on here. Now I do leave a bit of a gap here because I am going to obviously punch my holes so I can put it through my rings. So that's going to get stuck on there. Now I'm not inking on the inside. I don't mind the white. I've got white letters because again I've used the kind of shabby backgrounds. They are quite pale, so I don't mind the white personally, but obviously you can ink away if that's what you wish to do. Now on this, I've obviously got a ribbon closure on the front. That's fine, but it adds too much bulk to keep having it. So I'm going to do another one of these closures for the T. So I have already punched out my circles. So I'm just going to decide, whoops, which is the one that I want on the front. I think I'll go with that one. So all I did with my other two little circles, and there might be another way of doing this that's easier, I don't know, but I just folded these two in half. And then I literally glued this one on top. So I'm using my Barely Art glue. I've had this glue for just over a month now, and I must say I absolutely love it. This is hasn't always been available in the UK. I think it came in possibly September. And yeah, it's definitely now my favourite glue. So I'm gluing those on there, and then I've got that kind of a shape. I hope you can see that okay. So I've got these two flaps now here. Now I'm going to fold the one that I've just stuck on top. So I now have that kind of shape. So it kind of looks like the bit that goes on the end of a dart. Yep. And then where it's white, that's the bit that's going to get stuck down on here. But before I stick anything down, I'm going to bring the top down. I'm then going to kind of line this up roughly where the middle is. Now I know it's difficult for you to see because this is quite a patterned paper. But if I lay that on there, then using a pencil, I'm just going to put a little mark where the bottom is and a mark where the top is. And again, this may be tricky for you to see because it is patterned paper. Just going to move these bits out of the way and put my pin in here. And I'm going to get myself a craft knife and my cutting board. Okay, so I know that this is very difficult for you to see on camera, so I'm just going to draw it, and I am freehanding it. You can of course use a ruler. So I've got this line here, and that is what I'm going to cut up. I am going to cut either side of the line just so it's a little bit thicker, a little bit wider, just because it's easier then when you are trying to slot in that circle. So I'm just going to cut either side. Again, I am freehanding it. You can absolutely use a ruler if you want to. And then just cut along the top and the bottom. And then just pull that piece out. Okay, and then you'll end up with a strip like that. Now I haven't done a great deal of inking on any of mine. The only times I've kind of inked is when I've got lots of patterns and I'm trying to make things kind of stand out from one another. So I am going to give that a little bit of an ink where the slot is, just so it's easier to see when it's open. And I'm going to ink around this as well. I'm just going to give that a bit of a trim though, because I've got a little bit sticking out there for some reason. Okay, so you should have a white bit at the bottom that has the folds. That is the bit that's going to obviously get stuck down. Now, to know exactly where it needs to go now, I'm going to fold that top section up. I'm going to put that in here, make sure obviously it all fits. I'm then going to bring that down and open it up so that it stays open. So now when I add glue to this and bring it down, it will stick in exactly the place that I need it. So getting my glue again. First I'm going to stick these bits. And then, as I say, I'm just going to add some glue on here. And then bring that down, and that will then stick into place. Okay, so I'm going to give that a minute before I start fiddling with it. What I am going to do is get this stuck onto here. So with my others, the envelope is almost pretty much butting up to the letters because, like I said, I want that gap here so that I've got enough room for my holes. So I'm just going to stick that straight down onto that base. Okay, so that's that all stuck on there. So this, as I said, you pinch it and then you can lift up the envelope flap and that opens up like that. And that is your closure. And it just slots back down, you open it up and then that keeps it closed. Right, to do the holes, all I did was use one of these. So I'm just going to open this up. And I'm just going to take off the back one just because it's easier. And then all I did was just line it up and traced where my holes were. Then using my crocodile, oops, I just punched out those holes. So just lining it up with where I've drawn. I then have some hole reinforcers already. I know that there are punches and dies and things where you can get hole reinforcers. So if you've got those, if you haven't got the actual ones, then by all means. If you use paper ones, then obviously you can have them printed in these designs. These ones have a slight shine to them, so these aren't very good for decorating because when you kind of ink them up and things, I find that the ink just rubs off after a time. So, but again, like I said, I don't mind the white. I've got white in other areas of this sort of like mini booklet, so it doesn't bother me. But I just put those on either side, just like that. And that's that side of the page done. Now I have not really embellished my envelopes. I'm thinking I might do that. Like I said, if I use these as a December daily, I could put the date on there that I'm actually doing the journaling. So that's why I've kind of left them blank. I didn't want to over decorate them. So on the back though of each of them, we have obviously that pocket. So if I bring in the previous one, just so you can kind of see what we're doing. Now I have already kind of pre-cut things. So again, it will be 4 1/4. And then I can't remember how wide I've got these. Let's have a look. So they're about 3.5 wide. So 4 1/4 by 3.5. I've punched out a little notch, and then just to make sure that all the pockets are in the same place, I kind of just lined them up so they're about the same, and then stuck the pocket down. So I'm going to do that first, so the pocket's got some time to dry. as I said, just kind of lining it up. And again, you can ink around the edge. The only reason I haven't is because I am doing it against the craft card, so you can kind of see where the edge is. It's only if I was going to layer it onto some more patterned paper that I would have possibly inked the edge. Okay, so to go inside there then, I have these. So I've got this tag that's from the kit, and then again, this was a bit of the cut-off. So we need to do a decorative edge. For that, I was using this punch. So I am just going to slide that up a little bit. Now, what I did for these is I used the back end of my punch because I wanted to get it so that I didn't have half of one of these kind of scalloped edges. I wanted it full scalloped edges. So I made sure that I could see underneath where the edge was coming up to, and then punched. And from there, I'm able to use the guides at the top to be able to then work out where my next punch needed to be. Okay, now you can see that I have got a half. I will trim that off in a moment. So I'm going to spin it round. So this is obviously the edge that is the full scallop. So that's the edge that I want to make the full scallop on this side as well. So I've got a full scallop there. And then I can go ahead and punch the next bit. Okay, so that will then mean that this is the bit that I need to cut off. So using my trimmer, whoops. I just cut that off so that now I have a full scalloped edge on both sides. Okay, so that's the first piece then, and that will be slotted into there. And as I said, to save it kind of from flapping around, that's why I was kind of using the tag to kind of hold that bit down. So for the tag, on this one, I've just used a little bit of lace and some ribbon. So I have my little bit of lace, and here I have some ribbon that does need to be chopped down a little bit. So it is a bit screwed up in some edges, so I'm just going to trim those bits off. And then I was kind of folding them in half like that. So that would come down like that. That would go up there, and then I would just staple it at the top. And there we go, a nice quick and easy tag. So that's the next page done. Now obviously this does look a little bit plain, so I have been embellishing the pockets. So I have, again, some more of these Christmassy words. So I've got Merry Christmas, I've got a little nutcracker and a deer. Got some cheesecloth as well that we can use. Let's just sweep away some of this rubbish. Right, so let's set that back a little bit just so we've got a bit more room. So again, because we've kind of got this on a patterned background, I do want them to stand out a little bit, so I am just going to brush over very quickly with my Dobber. I'm not re-inking it or anything, I'm just using whatever ink happens to be on it. Because one thing I really liked about this kit is it wasn't overly vintage. I mean, there are some vintage elements, but there were some nice modern elements as well, which I quite liked, which is again why I'm not bothered by any white. Okay, so we've got that. So let's think about how we kind of want them. So the cheesecloth is quite nice because it just, again, tones down that background a little bit as well. So let's have a think. So we could maybe have the deer like that with our nutcracker. Then we can have the words Merry Christmas, something like that. So again, let's just pick those two up, apply a bit of glue for this to go down. Okay, and then the deer. And the nutcracker. Okay, and again I've just used that little embossing machine to do these. So what have we got? Merry Christmas. So let's have Merry across the feet. Oops. Merry Christmas. Okay, so that is our next page done. So we've decorated the pocket, we've got our envelope on the front. So that leaves the last one. Oh, actually, there's me forgetting. I haven't put my journaling card in here, have I? So in this one, what did we have? Patterned paper. So that means I want the craft card in this one. And then we've got this one left for the last page. So this was the last page. This was the last envelope. So again, such a pretty design, really, really love this. So I'm going to do the same thing. So I'm just going to put a little mark on either side. Give it a little trim. Okay, and glue down those sides. Okay, so for this one, again, I'm going to do a ribbon. Now, I was doing something with this ribbon on something else, but I actually made a mistake. I'm just wondering if it's going to be long enough. It might just literally be long enough. Okay, so I'm just going to give this a good crease. That's better. And just to help hold the ribbon in place, going to use some double-sided sticky tape. So I kind of aim for where it's crossing over, and then I just need a little bit on either side. Again, just lining it up, making sure that it's straight. I could have obviously done with a longer piece, but this was just a cut off from something else I was doing, so I was hoping it's enough, and it is just about. Now, when I did the other one like this, I did also use some washi tape, so I'm going to do the same on this one. So I've got this Christmassy one that has the presents and the tree, so I will use this one again, and it just kind of helps keeps it secure then on the sides as well. So I'm going to do the same in that I just used, I think, a tree and a present. Let's just check. Oh no, actually I used 3. Yeah, okay, so I can, oops, do, oh my goodness. Now I do reinforce it with some glue just to really make sure that it is obviously going to hold. And just stick that down. Okay, that's one side, and then the other side going to have 2 presents and a tree. And then that's just going to go down on this side. Oops. Okay, and that will just help keep it secure when the ribbon is kind of coming up like that. I'm going to keep it open for a moment just because it is easier. We can put that in there, can't we? Because that's our last sort of journaling card. And then this, again, we're just going to stick down to there. So I will take off the backing tape as well. Okay, and similar, I'm just again going to not completely butt it up to the letter, but just get it very close. And then stick that down. And then using my previous one, again, I'm just going to, whoops, draw my circles. Let's put that pin in before that dries. Right, okay, so that's that. Now, normally on the reverse, I would have a pocket. Because this is obviously the back of the album or flip book or whatever it's going to be called, I obviously don't want a pocket on there because I don't want things getting caught and damaged because of the way that they're hanging out. So obviously if I've got this on the back, these could end up getting caught and damaged, which I obviously do not want. So I have again used This was one of the collage pages from the kit, so we've got lots of images here. But as you can see, this is why I didn't want it folded up as an envelope, because you kind of miss all of this. So I was just going to add this on here, and then just kind of add an extra little embellishment on the back. So I'm going to glue that down. And then, yeah, just thinking about what else then we could add. I do quite like the candles, so let's just maybe cut a little bit of this to put behind. And I think just to kind of keep it in theme, I might use a little bit of washi tape. And then we can add some glue to add these. So let's put down some cheesecloth first. And then, yeah, these again, I'm just going to ink a little bit. Now I do have to say, I did not cut these out, my Cricut machine did these. I would not have been able to get in between all the little flames quite like that. I know some people have scan and cuts as well, so if you've got one of those machines, one of those would be great for these. Okay, and then what I'm thinking I might do is, using this, have Christmas Craft Off 23. Now this does make a lot of noise, so I am going to turn the sound off and speed this up a little bit. Right, okay, so I have Christmas Craft Off 23. So unfortunately it doesn't have a little hashtag, which is a bit of a shame, but that's okay. So I'm just going to trim that down a little bit. And then I can have Christmas Craft Off 23 somewhere, maybe down the bottom. Let's think where we want it before we start. Yeah, maybe there. There we go. Okay, so there's the back. So let's try and get all of these pieces then put together. Okay, so here is the finished booklet, flip book, I don't know what it's going to be called. But yeah, so my prompt was letters to Santa, which is why I thought having the letters that spell Santa down the side would be fun. Also the envelopes, the idea that you're posting a letter to Santa. So I've tried to incorporate the two ideas. I think it's turned out really beautiful. I love the fact that I've got some journaling cards in each of the envelopes. Each of the backs have journaling spots as well, and room for some more should I wish to. I like that I've had a little play around with different closures as well for envelopes. That's always fun. But I'm really pleased with how this turned out. As I say, I'm hoping a nice little project that has inspired some of you to perhaps make some. It could be a December daily, as I say. I think I'm going to be using this throughout December just to kind of record some key moments at Christmas time. Thank you very much for joining me today. As I say, all of the links will be down below to all of the other collaborators. Please go and check them out. Remember to give each video a thumbs up, leave a comment. Again, we appreciate that there's lots of videos for you to watch, so it doesn't have to be an essay. You can just give a thumbs up or a Christmas tree emoji or whatever. Just something down below. It helps out our channels. And yeah, it's always lovely to hear from those people that are watching. Thank you very much again, and I'll see you in the next crafty video. Bye for now.